about CE5 and extraterrestrial contact, download my new book, now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.
However, there have been a certain percentage of this volume of reports that have been made by credible observers of relatively incredible things. It is this group of observations that we now are attempting to resolve. A basic difficulty in dealing with these is that there is no measurement of them that makes it possible for us to put them in any pattern that would be possible for a deliberate, custom sort of analysis to take the next step. We have, as of date, come to only one firm conclusion with respect to this remaining percentage, and that is that it does not contain any pattern of purpose or of consistency that we can relate to any conceivable threat to the United States.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma. Welcome to Alien Strand Podcast. Yes, it's going to be a nice one. Today's going to be called Beast and Clones. We got a lot to talk about today. A lot, okay? So thank you, everybody who's watching on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch. We got 2 right now on X right now. Thank you for watching on X. Yes, Alien Strand, follow us there. And if you can, just go, if you can't find us, go to all my links at the end of this podcast. You'll see it at the very bottom of the description. Click on that and it'll take you to all of our social media platforms. Yes, it will. You know, today's going to be a pretty interesting topic. You know, I don't get to talk about Bigfoot very much, but, you know, today I decided to talk about it because, you know, Bigfoot's important. I think it's very important. We've been seeing a lot of him lately. It's just something that I wanted to get across again to some folks. I do have some video. I do have some photos. I have a lot of good stuff today on extraterrestrials and Bigfoot as well. So thank you guys for sticking around. If you're watching me on Facebook, it's going to be only on Alien Strand Ufology group. All right. So it's going to be only there where you're going to be watching. I shared it on my personal page, but go to Alien Strand Ufology group and you'll see this one. You can actually comment there and it'll be coming through the chat. Now, if you want to chat with me, you see this little chat right here. You can chat, throw some questions. We can. I'm going to have Mr. Bill Spicer here in just a minute, and we're going to talk about some things that he's seen as well. And you know, if you've got some questions to ask him, please do, and you'll be able to get it on there. But thank you guys for watching today. And if you're watching on Rumble, please hit the like, subscribe to it, and then click the bell there, so that way when we do go live, you do get a notification that we're live. The same thing applies for YouTube, all right? As far as Patreon today, this podcast will go on Patreon as soon as it ends. So we don't have a live feed that can transfer to Patreon just yet, but they're working on that. I hear they're working on that. So that'd be amazing if we could put Patreon on here as well, so that way you guys can see it live as well. But anyway, so I want to introduce you guys to Mr. Bill Spicer, and Mr. MB Man, very good friend of mine. We did have a podcast on audio. There he is right there. How you doing, Mr. Spicer? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Donald. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being on the show today. You know, we're going to just talk real shortly, not very long, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit. We did have this podcast on audio, what about maybe 3-4 months back?
Yeah, 3 months.
3 months back.
Ago.
Great podcast, great conversation. If you guys want to find it on audio, you'll see it on all your Spotify, all this stuff. Okay, so what's been going on with you, Mr. MB man, out there where you're at? How's it been going out there?
Well, there's been a lot of activity, and I call it conscious energy. It hit me yesterday afternoon, and that's what I posted on the Facebook page.
Right.
And let me tell you, it was like, you better get your camera and get outdoors now. That's what it felt like. Nice. And it was just before 4 o'clock. And I went out to my normal place where I stand in my yard. Right. And thank goodness the weather was nice. I didn't even have to wear a jacket or anything. And I went out there and started looking towards the southwest.
Right.
And I could see, I put polarized sunglasses on, and I use a method I call the quantum UFO observation technique, where I polarize the light coming into the camera. Okay. And you can see things that you can't see with your normal eye. The camera will pick it up, even though I know it's there. I can see it in my mind's eye, my third eye, I call it. I can see this. I went out there yesterday and just held the camera up there and took about, 5 photos. I didn't even run the video. I just ran straight photos. Right. And this portal is opened up. That's what I call it. There's another picture. Actually, I have 2 sets of photos. Okay. The second one shows like a white portal opening up.
Okay. So this is the first photo. So they can see a little line kind of coming down at the very bottom, right above the tree line. Correct. And then you end up getting this. We went a little bit closer, and this is the portal you were talking about.
This is the portal, and if you can see, there's a white. It looks like a craft of some kind, right, hovering in the sky.
It looks triangular,
and it does. And so I took the photograph, a series of them, 5 of them, and then I went back and I've learned how to use some software where I can take away the luminosity and strip away the pixel, the white pixel.
Right.
And lo and behold, there's 2 figures, one sitting and one standing.
Wow.
That I can see just presenting itself. Once I went back and did the editing and took away the luminosity, you can see 2 beings. This was the second set of photos that I took, and this is an enlargement of a craft. I actually caught several, and what I posted, I think I showed 2 stills, and then this. This is an enlargement, and it's a very fast-moving. There were no birds. Everyone says, "No, you're taking pictures of birds." Right. There are no birds. It's the dead of winter.
Well, it's like my friend Honeyball says. He says when I'm shooting up in the, because he's got a Canon 1000 or a Nikon, I'm sorry, and he's shooting way above the clouds. He goes, "Man, that's 5 miles up, almost 10 miles up there." So you ain't gonna see no birds or bugs up there that high.
There's no birds, and when I go out, I always make sure there's nothing flying around,
right? Like
birds in the sky or aircraft or anything else. I go out there and I make sure before I even get started. When I get the call, the precognition, that's the first thing I do when I step out of the house, to start looking at the environment, the natural environment. And then all of a sudden it's like, yep, we're good to go. And that happened yesterday, and there is a one of the stills, I think you had it earlier.
I think I have
that one.
I have this one here.
This is the 2 individuals. The one in the middle looks like it's standing up, and it's a white-bodied, it's white-robed, and it has a dark circle for where the face area would be. And, Donald, I saw this in 2009 in dreams. 3 dreams I had that I was introduced to what we're seeing standing in the photograph. Presenting itself. I've 3 times have had encounters through my life with these beings, and I instantly, when I saw the portal, I got the download disclosure. That word.
When you saw this right
Hey,
there, and that's
I
what
saw
you got,
that,
you got
and
the
I got
download.
and I got the words disclosure. It's
Oh,
time
man.
for disclosure.
Wow.
And this is what I've been talking about for 3 years now, because I first saw something similar to this 3 years ago in the sky.
Right.
Open a portal, and I kept getting this image. You got to start telling people something big is going to happen.
Right.
Well, it's disclosure. Uh, that's
I've
where I
seen
think
a
it's
lot of
heading.
I've seen a lot of your photos that you have on your
Mm-hmm.
personal page on the MB page, MB Man.
Mm-hmm.
If people don't know, follow him. It's called MB Man on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some amazing photos that he takes from his. I don't know if you're using a professional camera or just a cell phone.
No,
Just
I'm just using a cell phone.
okay.
My
You know,
basic camera, yeah, the basic, and I use a lens that I took out of a polarized sunglasses.
right, right,
Pop the lens out, put it on the back right over the lens, and hold it with my finger, and just take. I can see things that I know are there
right,
through my third eye before I even go out.
right.
And sure enough, I even know where to look in the sky.
Wow.
And what I think the white portal represents, it's a holographic projection from a higher dimension.
Right.
This is basically a hologram.
Okay.
That's what that is a hologram.
It's that portal right there. In other words, when you saw
Correct.
that portal coming through, did you see that triangular craft coming out of it, or just kind of appeared?
It was there instantaneously when I saw the portal.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
And I've seen this happen before. And when you polarize the lens or the light, you're going to it's linear polarization.
Right.
So the light is linearly polarized when it hits the lens. It gets rid of a lot of the where you get the refraction that happens, and you
Right.
see other orbs and things.
Yes.
It kind of cuts right through that.
Right.
This is
Like
like
a
you putting a
filter.
pair of
It's a
yeah,
filter.
it's a filter. It's like putting on a pair of, and I do wear the polarized sunglasses when I go
Right.
out and do this also, because
Yeah,
it
and
helps me find it faster.
we talked about this last time on the
Hmm.
podcast. If y'all don't hear it,
Hmm.
go back and play it. Me and him talked about how polarized sunglasses or polarized, even the welding helmets, but they're kind of thick on the welding
Hmm.
helmets. But
Hmm.
polarized glasses, if you look up in the sky, you can actually see things that you can't see with a naked eye.
Correct.
So you'll see like a lot of things flying by, UFOs, and believe me, you're going to see them because I saw them like that too, and
Right.
only with those
Right.
polarized glasses. Great point. Yeah.
Right. Yep. And so yesterday, that was the message I got when I was standing out there.
Right.
And I then came in the house, and instantly I knew I better go in and zoom in. And I cropped the picture and did some editing where I can turn down the luminosity.
Right.
And sure enough, the beings are standing there. One of them standing, one of them sitting.
Wow.
And a person I'm friends with in Italy
Right.
on another Facebook page uh, told me what to do, the filter, because
Right.
he was doing this for me a year ago. And similar beings showed up in some of the photographs that are like this that I took. He took them and ran his software and got rid of all that luminosity. And sure enough, there was one where a whole table of different beings are sitting around it.
Wow. It's
And
almost
there's
like
one
this photo right here, like the one in Turkey,
exactly.
like the one they
Yeah.
caught when zoomed into that crap that sat there for what, 4 hours or
Yeah.
6 hours in the sky,
Yes.
and they were able to
Similar to
zoom
that.
in and get this. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's similar to that. And yesterday, though, that confirmed what I had been getting downloads.
Right.
Disclosure. That's the word I kept hearing, which is when I went outside. I said, I've got to go outside. So
Right.
I grabbed the camera and my filter
Mhm.
and grabbed the sunglasses and made a dash outside and got set up and put out the thought, show yourself. That's all I say mentally is
Right.
show yourself. And sure enough, something shows up. It,
Wow.
it happens almost all the time, especially when the weather's nice and I'm
Yeah.
not standing in the cold. Uh, that's a nice benefit, and it was nice yesterday.
Wow, nice.
So,
Well, I mean, at least you have that connection
mhm,
with these beings or these
mhm,
UFOs or just having. It's almost like having a CE5, but you can actually
correct.
have it all the time whenever it's actually giving you
Mhm,
the signals to go outside and go do these things. And that's what I need people to understand that it does happen and it can happen to anybody.
it happened.
And
Right.
but you, it's especially because it's you've had a lot of things happen to you in your past that
Mhm,
have. Got you to the place to where you are today.
mhm.
As what do you think about the disclosure that after the president said that he was going to start disclosing information, they're going to try to see what they can give us? Do you think that Big Brother's going to kind of hide it some more, or do you think it's just they're going to give us little nits and bits and pieces?
I I think over the next month and a half, uh, March and April, I'll just say the first those 2 months, there's going to be a I don't know, a presentation made of some kind,
Right,
probably to Congress first, but it'll be taped, and people will start to have access to that. And then the news, the general news, is going to take over, and they already are. I noticed some today were already posting, oh, they're releasing it, going to release information.
right,
So I believe that is how it's going to trickle out, where Congress is going to be talking to somebody either from the Pentagon or somebody at a level like that that's going to say, okay, here's the documents, and they'll yeah a little bit more detailed than what we've already had in the last month or so,
right,
where they had a panel. I think you're going to see a bigger group, and NASA of all things are probably even going to get involved. They're going to have to come forward
well, they
because there's
should.
a group there. There's a group there that's been studying this
Right,
for 2 or 3 years now.
right,
They were funded to do this,
right,
so I think you're going to hear and see reports like that. Fundamentally, there's going to be enough pictures released. Military, they're going to let a few of them probably speak, that were actually pilots that haven't already talked. They're going to be talking
right,
and mention what they've been seeing, and the whole thing has already been discussed. They're interdimensional.
right.
That word's been used, and
Yes,
that's
yeah,
what they are. That's what they are. They're not just in the 3D that we exist in.
right.
They are interdimensional. They're right next to us. That's the best words I can use
Well,
to describe
it's
it.
like they
They're
can.
already here. They've been here. They're right next to you. You just can't see them.
I can't see them exactly, but they can also go
Yeah,
into form as well. Like
yes, they can take on a three-dimensional form.
exactly, and it's almost like their craft is the same thing. Their craft is made of
Hmm.
the same substance to where they can
Yeah.
make it change into a different form or whatever it is, right?
Well, the craft that I've actually, I guess, astrally projected myself to, because
Hmm.
I've been able to do that for the last, I don't know, 10 years,
Hmm.
where I can remote view, and I've been in them and done that. On some of them, if I take a picture, I'll go
Right.
back in the house, look at it, and then go into my remote viewing technique. And sure enough, I'm on the craft. In fact, I've encountered several beings, and they've actually told me, "You're not supposed to be here."
Wow.
They telepathically tell you, "You're not supposed to be here." And
Wow.
I said, "Well, I'm here to find out everything about you and your craft."
Right.
And sure enough, their craft are alive. They have thought just like they do,
Right.
except except they have the intention of operating as a craft. That's what they
Right.
chose to do. That's
Right.
their life.
Wow.
uh,
It's the strangeness of everything, even as far
hmm
as people are starting to get more into ufology and everything involved with it,
right.
with everything, right?
Yeah.
And it's mind blowing, but it's an eye opener for a lot of people, and especially their
hmm
first time experiences, things like that, where they can get involved into ufology or just kind of learning more about
right.
disclosure. But I think we're getting a little bit closer to disclosures as we need to be, right,
hmm
as far as citizen
right.
ufologists, right, because that's what we are, just
hmm
trying to know the truth. But yeah, thank you for all your insights
Okay.
today, and thank you for just being on here
Yeah.
for just a quick moment. And I wanted to
Well,
share
thank you.
your photos and everything with everybody. You got anything to say to anybody out there?
Well, just everybody, just keep looking at the skies, because a lot is going to happen here in the next 2 months. If the weather's good where you're at, get out and enjoy nature a little bit, but look up in the sky and have your cell phone ready.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what I'm going to recommend. And get a pair of polarized sunglasses.
Yes.
Or night vision. Actually, I'm going to be doing my night vision now that it's not getting as cold. And I've caught things at night that resemble the daytime. Okay, wow. The same shapes and everything. You can overlay them, and they're the same.
Yeah, I mean, they're just a little more expensive than our standard spare sunglasses, but you know what? That's well worth it, especially if you're into ufology, because you can see things a little bit better.
Right. Well, thank you for having me on, and enjoy the rest of the show. I am. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one. Appreciate you.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, there's Mr. Bill Spicer. Follow him as MB Man on Facebook. Great person, great human being. I love him to death. We had a nice conversation on our audio podcast. It's just he's just a good guy. He just loves to do this, and he's got a real strong connection with ufology. I got a lot more to show you here. Here it goes, man. So you ready? Are you ready? We're gonna rock and roll some more. We just bringing Mr. Bill in. We're gonna keep doing stuff like that on this show, and I want you guys to just experience things that other people experience as well, not just me talking, but you have to see these things now. All right, I don't know if you guys saw this photo that's been floating out there of this. It almost looks like a balloon, but a silver one. And it looks like it's metal floating in the sky, right? And this was actually in Acapulco, Mexico, I believe. I got the video of it, and I'm just going to show it to you because I never saw the video until now. And it is the UFO that was spotted out there, but this UFO is not what you think it is, right? It's not what we always what we think about as a UFO, like a tic tac or a saucer shape or anything like that. And we have to, just like me and Bill just talked about a minute ago, these things can take on any shape or form, right? So, and this is what's going to freak you out. Just watch this for a second.
Ahí en el cielo, encima de la agua. Aquí estamos, amigos, en México, viendo un ovni en el cielo. Aquí estamos en Acapulco, México. Ahí está, míralo, güey. Ay, la ve, míralo, güey. Está cerquita, es metal. Es puro metal, güey.
We need her to guide our soul.
That is nuts, right? Isn't that crazy? Oh man. I'm glad we saw the video finally of it, right? Because it was too good to be true. Some people say, oh, it's a balloon floating over. Somebody, kids, let some balloons get. No, that didn't look like no balloon. It had like antennas sticking out of it. Everything that you can think of. And this is what we talk about. These UFOs are not going to be your standard shape, right? Elizabeth Jeffries, my sister's out there watching. Yay, I know she's watching on the big screen TV. She says, what the hell is that? Exactly. That's what I've been trying to say. What is that? Or what was that really in reality? And man, I don't know. We try to wrap our brains around these things and these crafts and what they look like and what they're supposed to, what we think they're supposed to look like since the 1940s and 1950s and 60s. I always had them as this saucer shape, right? But when you see something like this, it kind of throws your mind in a different direction. But it's not to confuse you. I believe it's just a different craft. It's a different species of extraterrestrial. Because remember, there's different species out there of different extraterrestrials. They're not all the same. And like I said, I don't know if I want to meet one face to face. That's just not going to happen, right? So, you could get one of these, and you don't know what you're going to get, of course. And then you can get these little guys, right? So, it's it's the strangeness of the extraterrestrials. But I always ask the question, who's piloting these things, right? And we're always looking at the UFO of what it is and how it's flying, and we're all intrigued about that, and just the way it's actually flying. How is it flying? How is it? It's throwing off this electronic magnetic fields around it, right? And we're always just trying to scientifically break the science down on it, and really in reality it's kind of mind-boggling how to figure it out. How do you know what it is, or how do you know how it flies? I don't. We're all speculating. The only ones who do know is Big Brother, right? So we know, and this is where the disclosure is going to come from, right? And I think that's where everything's going to just come up into the open. They might as well just say, hey, you know what? We got one. All right. We got the stuff. We have one, or we caught some little grays or whatever, and they're helping us out. That's all we have. They died, they left, or they took them back. That's what they can say. At least give us a little bit. Don't just throw the line in the water and with an empty hook on it. Don't put no shrimp on it or a worm, right? You're gonna catch something, right? Kind of grab us with something. So give us a little bit. Anyway, let's talk about this guy here. So Bigfoot. Do you believe in Bigfoot? And this creature's been around for a long time. Bigfoot is also known as Sasquatch, is one of the most enduring cryptids in the North American folklore, right? But is it merely folklore, or a relic, or a hominid species, right? Or something far stranger? What do you think Bigfoot really is? The name Sasquatch comes from a Coast Salish word, Sequoc, right? Meaning the wild man. Indigenous tribes of across North America described large-haired, covered human-like beings long before European settlers arrived, right? So this is what the natives, what I talk about all the time, this is what they have been seeing, right? This is what they have been encountering even before our civilization started, just technology started getting out there, whatever. This was back in the days, right? 1800s, 1700s. So pre-colonial traditions, Native Americans, tribes across the Northwest describe them as forest giants as well, right? So this is what they're saying. So these things were seen in 1811. Explorer David Thompson recorded giant tracks in what's now Alberta. 1924, Ape Canyon incident in Washington State. In 1958, Bluff Creek in California, large tracks discovered by construction workers. And in 1967, of course, what do we have? The Patterson film, which is the above picture on the top right, what you're looking at there, all right? So these are what, everybody's been talking about and seeing for quite some time. Now, are these creatures able to communicate or have some kind of dialogue of any kind? I've brought it up on the show before, and we tend to think about these creatures as almost looking humanistic, right? Because they do have 2 legs, 2 arms, a lot of hair, of course, and facial features almost ape-like in a sense, but not, because the face resembles more human being, right? So, and then we always tell ourselves, are these things connected with humans? Are they a part of our bloodline, or were they sent down here by extraterrestrials? What did we talk about last week, or whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, when I talked about our DNA, right? Our DNA origin started, what was it, 9 billion years ago, right? And then Earth became Earth 4.5 billion years ago, or 4.6. So our DNA was constructed way before that, right? So where do these creatures come from, or how did they get here? And people seem to see them as disappearing sometimes, even when they're almost like cloak themselves. But I think they cloak themselves in a sense too, to where their hair is almost a camouflage. They adapt to their environment. In other words, their color of their hair can, I'm just saying this, maybe the color of their hair can change to where the environment that they're at. Do you agree with that? That maybe that's what it is, right? Maybe. All right. So I love this. I put it on. I've put this on before. Check this out. This is the vocalization of Bigfoot. We talked about a little bit of vocalization. So I know you've heard this before, but this is a great thing to know that you can communicate with Bigfoot. It depends how far you are and if it's angry or not, right? So usually they're going to be in their own environment. Don't get too close. If they want to get close to you, I think that's where the safe zone is. Now, when you start invading their space, I think that's where the more scarier grunts, the hits of the forestry when they're getting logs or breaking limbs, trees are warning you, don't get close to me, right? So, but if they're vocalizing with you, like hoots, screams, or just howls, maybe they're trying to communicate. Let's watch this real quick.
There's two of them across the creek at the big rocks. It's a hard act to follow.
It sounds like he talks to us and they talk to each other.
Yeah. Right there, I just seen movement right through there.
You wanted to know what they sound like? Well, there it is, folks.
Yeah, there it is, folks. And Regina's out there. Hi, Regina. How you doing? Thank you for joining the show. It's that they have a humanistic sound, don't they? Maybe their throat cavities or their tongues, or maybe something's too big to where they can't really communicate, but they are getting close. And that was an old one. That was what, 1980 something or 1990, when they got those vocalizations of those Bigfoot, and there was female Bigfoots, Bigfoots or feets. Bigfoot. Okay. Sasquatch. All right. So that's what people are experiencing out there in the woods, right? When they're out there with these creatures. And we tend to just kind of follow along a little bit, and we never really pay attention to Bigfoot. And I think we should. I really do think we should. Do you think we should follow on with Bigfoot? I think we should, because I have a feeling they're, like maybe Mr. Spicer were talking about, I think they might be interdimensional too, because they show up. A lot of people say when they see a Sasquatch, they see a UFO. What are the coincidences of that? Right? Almost like the picture, like you see the UFO, Sasquatch, and Bigfoot's riding old Nessie, right? There's that photo floating around in there. But that's just a joke photo. But in reality, people do experience or seen orbs when they see a Sasquatch, right? And it's these creatures are everywhere, right? So right now, a lot of the sightings are hotspots in Washington, of course, Oregon, North California. It's very forestry over there. I've been over there. That's where I shot the first movie, The Middle, right? Of course, in the Appalachian region there in Kentucky, West Virginia, and Tennessee, right? A lot of people see them there as well. They also have, global parallels with the Yeti in the Himalayas, the Yowie in Australia, and the Alma in Central Asia. So what are the chances that these creatures are worldwide, right? And that's what we're seeing. These creatures are worldwide, to where we're noticing that they're in different parts of not just the United States, but in different continents, in different countries. What if they were put down there or placed there by extraterrestrials? Who knows? Who knows? And why are these things so massive? That's the thing, right? They're massive, massive legs. Look at the structure of this beast. It is massive. So these things can break trees. They'll snap a person in half. Right? People have seen them carrying huge elk over their shoulder like nothing. Elk weigh almost 1,000 pounds, man. So you have to be very careful when you encounter a Bigfoot, let's just say. And we just have to just be kind of critical and careful when we're around these kind of creatures, because we don't know what they are, where they're from, right? Just like the Lakota here. The Lakota used to be around these beasts all the time. They talk about them. Here it is. They exist. This is coming from the Lakota. They exist in another dimension from us, but can appear in dimensions whenever they have a reason to. See, it's like they are in many levels, many dimensions. When our time in this one is finished, we move on to the next. But the big man can go in between. The big man comes from God. He's our big brother. Kind of looks like us, they say. This is Ray Owens, son of a Dakota spiritual leader from Minnesota. The Hopi elders say that they are increasing in appearances of Bigfoot are not only a message or warning to individuals or communication to whom he appears, but to humankind at large. As Matthiasen puts it, they see Bigfoot as a messenger who appears in evil times as a warning from the Creator. The man's disrespect for his sacred instructions has upset the harmony and the balance of existence. To the Hopi, the big hairy man is just one that the messenger can take. The existence of Bigfoot is taken for granted throughout the native Turtle Island in North America, and so are his powerful psychic abilities. I can't count the number of times that I've heard elder Indian people say, Bigfoot knows when humans are searching for him, and that he chooses when and whom to make an appearance, and that his psychic powers account for his ability to elude the white man's efforts to capture him or hunt him down. The Indian culture, the entire natural world, the animals, the plants, the rivers, the stars, is seen as a family. And Bigfoot is seen as one of our closest relatives, the great elder brother. Dear humans, it's time for you to start healing. Love, Sasquatch. This is coming from them. Beautiful, man. I love that. And because they were so involved with this creature that maybe during those times they were able to communicate just like we heard the communication before. Do you agree that at that time we weren't so aggressive towards each other, or maybe the harmony was more in place with the natives to where the Bigfoot knew that the natives weren't going to harm them, right? So it was a safe space for them. So they were able to communicate with Bigfoot, but they knew, and they're even saying that these things were interdimensional. That's what Mr. Bill Spicer were talking about ETs. They're interdimensional. They can walk in and out. People don't think about Bigfoot that way. Sometimes people just think of them as a human, just a piece of meat walking like us, right? We're just here. But really, in reality, there's more of a spiritual being that walks with this creature, right? And sometimes you will catch a video or a glimpse of one. Here's one in Utah. Check this out. at first you hear the guy just taping it, on his phone. Well, we call it taping, but same thing. And then it just kind of freaked him out. His voice he started breathing real hard, freaked him out for a second. Never seen anything like that. In our camera's view, things look smaller than they appear. Got to think about that. So sometimes when you see videos, it doesn't look big. They don't look that big. Shoot, these things are huge. 8 feet, 10 feet. Some even have said that they've seen these things up to 12 to 15 feet tall. A Bigfoot. Imagine that, the mass of that thing being 15 foot tall, man. And then coming at you. I don't think so. I'm running the other direction, man. I don't know about you. Because he ain't going to come shake your hand if he's running towards you. All right. So, and maybe, like I said before, maybe we're in their space. Do you think that this is why they get aggressive? Do you think that this is what happens when they get aggressive, when they charge towards people sometimes? Now we're starting to get more and more video of these things. There's one more video I have here. So, and it's of another Bigfoot. Somebody caught one not caught one, but they saw one in a tree, and they were able to, they saw it actually gripping a tree up above, right? And they were able to catch this. Check this out. So there it is. I took the sound out. So it looks like it's kind of trying to hang on with dear life. And this is not AI, folks. This is not AI. Guaranteed. I know what it looks like. This one almost looks ape-like, right? And it might be a younger Bigfoot. That's what I'm thinking it is. So, and it was kind of hard to see at first. So what I did was I broke it down just a little bit on, because you can do it off your phone. You can record it. And then you can start readjusting. So as you can see here, I have my phone. I start doing this is an iPhone, mind you. So you start doing a little bit of adjusting while the video starts. And then it was looking real dark. So I lightened it up. I started lightening it up so I can try to see this Bigfoot's face. I wanted to see if it looked closer to a human being or maybe an ape, or maybe I thought it was a gorilla or something. Maybe somebody let one loose out there, and maybe got away. So once you start looking, the characteristics does take a form of a large ape, but at the same time, I was looking at the hands. The hands don't look like one. Looks more human being, kind of humanistic. I'm going to say it that way. But I started lightening it up, and just to try to get a closer glimpse of what I was seeing, right? Because I like to break things down just a little bit, so we can kind of get a glimpse of it. And just like we talked about interdimensional beings, things like that, we talked about UFOs, how these UFOs have been out there for a long time, right? So there was this one, I don't know if you remember this. I'm going to jump back just a little bit to a different category for a second. There was a satellite was released. It was called the Helios, right? Which they make a really beautiful lens, a Russian lens. But this satellite was out in space, and it caught this image. Way, way out in the distance. What does that look like to you when you're looking at this? And this is in interstellar space, out way out there, okay? What does that look like? It almost looks like a structure of some sort, right? And this is what it caught in its camera. And of course, they colorized it, things like that, just to try to get a better image. Of course, you start using a little bit of AI, and then you start getting a little bit more of an image of what this possibly, and even if it's a rock floating out there, this could be a craft. Like what me and Mr. Spicer talked about earlier. He said there was the craft that he got, he could see the ETs inside of it. What if this picture right here on this side, you see this here where I'm pointing? What if this was a craft And these were the ETs standing up. Maybe, right? Is that what it looks like to you? Strange. Great photo, by the way. And it's real. Real photo. Here it is. Unclassified archives. 1990 Helios, number 3. Status, authorized partial declassification. In October 1990, the Helios 3 automatic probe was redirected in a peripheral star cluster for the radiation mapping of interstellar matter distribution. The team didn't expect any structural anomalies, but Helios 3 operated with low-resolution CCD sensor, optics, aperture limited, compressed digital transmission, processing on board to a minimum. During the prolonged deep field exposure, the system recorded the uncatalogued luminous object. The anomaly presented uniform gold broadcast, partially defined edges, internal geometric segmentation, axial symmetry. And he says, I didn't agree with elliptical galaxy, global cluster, reflective nebula, or a transitional event. The diameter analysis indicated that if the estimated distance was correct, the structure processed the scale comparable to the body and the size of the Earth's moon. Ah. Elizabeth Jeffrey says, looks like a city. So this is the size of Earth's moon. That is an amazing, amazing find. And I didn't know about this until I started digging, and there we go. And then this pops up, right? So it was just a partial declassification, right? So in other words, it was classified. Since 1990, that photo was kind of put away. Let's just put it to you that way. So you see how these little things are starting to pop up a little bit more here, left and right, about disclosure. Yeah. We talked about Bigfoot, of course, about his cloaking, sudden disappearances, electronic magnetic disturbances, right? You know, of how he might be connected with ETs. Do you think that the extraterrestrials may have had way before we started coming together as far as human beings and working, our brains started growing and things like that? Do you think that maybe they had some sort of cloning program of some sort and decided to try to make something and they end up making this? This is why he can react and interact as same thing as the Greys, like a cloaking, sudden disappearances, electromagnetic disturbances. People have reported UFO sightings near Bigfoot encounters. Hello. They're orbs in wooded areas and missing time, right? Missing time and orbs around Bigfoot. So, in other words, they share the same characteristics as, sorry, I've had a long day, as these Greys, right? Same thing. And then we have to ask ourselves, okay, are these things connected to UFOs? Me personally, I've been saying it for years. I think they are. I think they are. There's a segment right here about it. More witnesses are reporting glowing orbs appearing right before and during after a Sasquatch encounters. Dave Paulides has documented accounts of tall humanoid shapes are visible inside the orbs themselves. A few long-time experiences who have had multiple Sasquatch repeated sightings have told me even something even wilder, that they believe that the orbs aren't just companions of the forest or the giants, but one way they move from place to place. Whoa. Of course, he says, all my images are fictional, but made for fun, right? Entertainment. But not the story. right? Because I've heard that before too. This thing right here, has been around for a long, long, long time. And we need to study it a little bit more, not kill it or anything like that. I don't agree with that. No. I just think that if we can get close to these things and have a little bit more communication with these things, that we're able to understand what these things are. Just like we're trying to understand these things, right? We're still trying to understand these things since 1947, man. We've studied ETs, UFO crafts, everything like that, more than Sasquatch. Why? Is it because it doesn't interest people? Sasquatch doesn't interest me? Well, you have to know exactly what you're looking at and to know that maybe these things are connected all together. What me and Mr. Spicer talked about a little while ago. And what I've been saying for quite some time. That these beings, whatever they are, wherever they come from, even the Hopi said that it's a creator. It comes from the creator, right? We all come from a creator somewhere. 9 billion years ago, when our DNA strand decided to start, right? We're all connected to these things. Like we're all connected to the earth. We're connected to everything. So that way we can have this kind of experience with ETs or anything like that, right? Some people think we're full of crap, but really in reality, no, we're not. Once you've seen one, you cannot unsee it anymore, just like Mr. Bill Spicer's photo here. Once you've seen one, you cannot unsee it. It's there and it's going to be there. And it's going to keep on appearing to you for the rest of your life. Why did it choose you? I don't know. Sometimes people choose it themselves, just like the CE5 thing, right? You can look for it. Yeah. Be careful how you do it. You can communicate with interstellar beings. Some of these are not going to hurt you. If you want to communicate, then communicate, right? You want to see one for your own eyes. Some people say, well, seeing is believing. There you go. This is what the middle films do. It helps you believe by people's accounts of what they're seeing, just like Miss Regina. She's on my third film. By the way, I think I just got that on Amazon Prime, so you'll be able to find that on Amazon Prime, by the way. The middle three, Consequences of Contact. Check it out. And all my films, that's what they're about, right? They're about contact, experiences with contact. Everything that went into these films was not scripted. Everything you hear from their own words, their shaky voices, their experiences with extraterrestrials, right? Not Bigfoot, but extraterrestrials. But what are the chances that they're all connected together, right? Those are the things we have to think about. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast, like as much as I did. I hope you got a little bit of information out of what I've gave you some presentation today. It's been a long day for me, so I've been kind of twisted on my tongue, but it's okay. We'll get it on the next one. But if you guys can follow us, please follow us on Patreon. Follow us everywhere. Go to all my links after this podcast. You'll see it there. Follow Mr. MB Man there on Facebook. Go check out his work. Amazing, amazing human being. He's just a great person. Go check him out. Follow him as well. Alien Strand, if you're watching on YouTube, click a like, subscribe. Please hit the bell. Same thing with Rumble. Please follow us on Rumble. We had 2 pages there. They're all linked together. So whichever one you want to follow, you can. Join for free on Patreon. I did throw out a book there for free to download. Go check that out as well. Join for free, man. Hope you guys appreciate this as much as I appreciate you guys. Just for getting this out there, man. Thank you, X, for watching. 9 people on X watching. Thank you. You guys rock, man. I want to see that next time on Facebook. Maybe. X rocks, man. I'm telling you, look at that. 9 people on there watching right now. So, thank you for watching on Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. All right. So, we'll see you on the next one. I'm going to have another special guest coming on the next podcast on video. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great evening. Have a good night. See you later, alligator.
CE5 and extraterrestrial contact. Download my new book, now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.